Most traders think their next six-figure year is just one magic indicator away. They spend years chasing the perfect setup, the flawless entry, the one strategy that never, ever loses. But the pros, the ones who are actually pulling money out of the market month after month, they know the truth. Profitability isn't hiding on your charts. The real edge is between your ears. It's not about finding the perfect play. It's about executing a script. You get paid for one thing in this business, and it is not for being right. It's not for predicting the market. It's not even for having a high win rate. You get paid for one thing: execution. Perfect execution under extreme pressure, over and over again. And today, I'm giving you the mental playbook, the exact script that elite performers like surgeons and pro athletes use to make sure their execution is flawless, no matter how high the stakes get. The biggest reason most traders fail is that they just don't get what this job really is. We're all sold this story of freedom, calling shots from a laptop on the beach, but nobody tells you that trading is a high-performance discipline. It's not a casual hobby. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a profession that has way more in common with surgery or elite sports than it does with a 9-to-5. Think about a heart surgeon. They face life or death pressure every single day. Does that surgeon get paid just for showing up, for reading the patient's chart? Nope. They get paid for one thing: flawless execution during the operation. When they pick up that scalpel, there's no room for emotion. There's no room for second-guessing or going with a gut feeling. One impulsive cut, one moment of hesitation, and the whole thing fails. Their entire career is built on the disciplined, systematic execution of a plan. For them, sterile protocols and precise instruments aren't just suggestions. They are rigid systems that enforce discipline and protect the patient. And guess what? That's you. You're the surgeon. Your stop-loss is your scalpel, a tool designed to make a clean, unemotional cut to protect your capital. Your position sizing isn't some loose guideline. It's the sterile protocol that stops one mistake from killing the patient. When a surgeon goes off-plan, the patient's life is at risk. When you go off-plan, when you move your stop out of fear or double down on a loser out of greed, your capital is on the operating table, and you've just thrown your procedure out the window. The market will deliver the consequences. Now, think about a professional athlete. An Olympic gymnast doesn't win gold by getting lucky. They win because they've practiced one routine 10,000 times, visualizing every possible slip-up, until the execution is automatic, even with the blinding lights and the roar of the crowd. They watch game film not to celebrate wins, but to pick apart the tiny flaws in their losses. Their coach isn't just a cheerleader. They're there to enforce the discipline of the process. Yet, what do most traders do? They hit a winning streak, and suddenly they're invincible. They ditch their risk management, oversize their positions, and take sloppy setups, acting like an athlete who wins one game and decides to quit training and fire their coach. That overconfidence is the #1 killer of trading careers. Just like an athlete who overtrains risks a career-ending injury, a trader who lets their ego get fat after a few wins is just inviting a catastrophic account wipeout. The market doesn't care about your ego. It doesn't care how badly you need the money or how much you want to be right. It only responds to one thing: the disciplined execution of a solid strategy over a huge sample size of trades. The second you understand that you are not a gambler, not a predictor, but a high-performance executor, your entire world will change. So this leads to the most important rule of the game: you must worship the process, not the outcome. You've probably heard that phrase before, but I want you to burn it into your brain until it's the foundation of everything you do. Amateurs chase profits, professionals chase perfect execution. Let me be brutally clear: the result of any one trade is completely meaningless. It's a statistical blip. A winning trade where you broke all your rules is a terrible trade. Why? Because it reinforces bad habits. It teaches your brain that impulsive, undisciplined behavior gets a reward. It's like giving a dog a treat for chewing up your shoes. You are literally training yourself to fail in the long run. On the flip side, a losing trade where you followed your plan to the letter, perfect entry, correct position size, and honoring your stop-loss without a second thought is a perfect trade. It's a win. You should actually celebrate that. Why? Because you just reinforced the exact behavior that, over hundreds of trades, lets your statistical edge play out. This is where the script comes in. Your trading plan is the script, and it's not just a collection of vague ideas. It's a detailed, written document that dictates your every move. It defines your exact entry signals, your exit rules, and your risk parameters. The legendary trader Paul Tudor Jones didn't become a billionaire by having a crystal ball. He got there by obsessing over his process, focusing relentlessly on risk, and detaching his ego from needing to be right. He knows his job isn't to predict the future, it's to be an elite manager of risk and a flawless executor of his system. So how do you actually make this shift? You change how you keep score. Stop judging your day by your P&L from now on. You grade your performance on one simple question. Did I follow my script perfectly? Yes or no? Your trading journal needs to change too. Don't just log your entry and exit. Document your emotional state. Before the trade, what was your mindset? Were you calm and objective, or were you feeling impatient, trying to chase back a recent loss? During the trade, did you feel that knot of fear in your stomach? Did you feel the urge to snatch profits too early? Did you feel greed whispering that this thing could run forever? And after the trade, how did you react? When you track this data, you stop being a passenger to your emotions and become a scientist of your own behavior. You'll start to see patterns. I noticed that after 3 wins in a row, I always oversize my next position and give it all back. That's a life-changing insight you will never get from a P&L statement. That is the beginning of trading like a pro. You're no longer fixated on the random outcome of the next trade. You're focused on perfecting the only thing you can control, yourself. If your trading plan is the script, then your daily routine is the stage. Professionals in every high-stakes field live by their routines to guarantee peak performance. Surgeons have pre-op checklists. Athletes have warm-up rituals. Your trading day needs to be just as structured. Think of it as a 3-act play: preparation, execution, and review. Act 1. The pre-market preparation. This is your warm-up. This is where you prepare your mind for battle. The goal isn't to predict what the market will do, but to prepare yourself to react perfectly to whatever it does. First, review your script, your trading plan. Read your setups, your entry criteria, your risk rules. Remind yourself what a perfect trade actually looks like in your system. Next, and this is critical, do an emotional check-in. How are you feeling really? Are you tired, stressed from an argument last night, anxious about a bill that's due? You have to be brutally honest with yourself. If you are not in a calm, objective state of mind, you're starting the day at a massive disadvantage. Pros will often just not trade on days they feel emotionally compromised. Remember, the market will be there tomorrow. Your capital might not be if you trade while you're a wreck. Finally, you mentally rehearse. Visualize different scenarios. Picture a trade immediately going against you and hitting your stop. See yourself taking the loss calmly, without emotion, and waiting for the next valid signal. Now picture a trade that works out perfectly. See yourself holding it to your profit target without getting greedy or panicking out of it early. By running these drills in your head, you're pre-programming your response, making it so much easier to stick to the script when real money is on the line. Act 2. The intra-trade execution. This is show time. Your only job in this act is to follow the script. You wait patiently for a setup that matches your criteria. If no setup appears, you do nothing. The ability to sit on your hands is the hallmark of a professional. Amateurs feel like they always have to be busy. Pros know that most of the time, the right trade is no trade at all. When a valid setup does show up, you act without hesitation. Your risk is already defined. Your stop loss is placed immediately. In fact, automating your stops and limits is one of the best things you can do because it bypasses that emotional part of your brain that will try to sabotage you mid-trade. Once the trade is on, your job is done. Let the market do its thing. Don't fiddle with your stop. Don't stare at your P&L, living and dying with every tick. Trust the plan you made when you were calm and objective. And look, your willpower is a finite resource. Just like a muscle, it gets tired. Forcing yourself to trade all day long will always lead to sloppy, impulsive mistakes later on. Set a limit for how many trades you'll take and stick to it, win or lose. Act 3. The post-trade review. This is your cool down and analysis. This is where you actually get better. At the end of your session, open your journal and review your performance, not your profits. For each trade, you ask the hard questions. Did I follow my entry rules? Was my position size correct? Did I honor my stop or my target? You grade your execution, plain and simple. This is also where you do an emotional debrief. How did you feel? What triggered those feelings? Writing it down gets the emotion out of your head and lets you look at it objectively. After a huge win or a really frustrating loss, you absolutely need a cooling off period. Step away from the screens, go for a walk, reset your brain. The worst decisions are almost always made in the emotional heat of a big trade. This three-act structure, preparation, execution, review, is your system for building unshakable discipline. It turns trading from a chaotic, emotional roller coaster into a calm, professional, and repeatable process. Making this shift from chasing profits to perfecting your process is the single hardest part of trading. It takes brutal honesty and a ton of self-awareness. So I want to ask you, what's the one rule in your trading plan that you break the most often? Drop it in the comments below. Just acknowledging it is the first step to fixing it. This script isn't about some magic formula. It's about a complete shift in your identity. You have to stop seeing yourself as someone who gambles on where the market is going and start seeing yourself as an elite performer whose only job is flawless execution. Your trading plan is your script, your daily routine is your rehearsal, your trading journal is your coach, giving you honest, unfiltered feedback. The market doesn't reward luck. It doesn't reward intelligence or a fancy indicator. It rewards discipline. It rewards the trader who can run their plays perfectly, day in and day out, no matter how crazy things get. That is the script that separates the 90% who fail from the handful who succeed. That is the script that will make you profitable.